The water looks empty because, for all practical purposes, it is. Sunlight folds itself into long, wavering bands that reach down through the shallows, illuminating sand ripples, drifting silt, and the occasional flash of a small fish turning its flank. This is coastal water at rest, warm, quiet, seemingly uncomplicated. There is no surge, no roar, no visual warning that anything here is alive in a way that matters. The danger does not stalk or chase. It does not telegraph intent. It simply occupies space, waiting for movement to come to it. A box jellyfish does not announce itself because it has no need to. Its body is almost entirely transparent, a geometric bell barely distinguishable from the water that holds it. Unlike many jellyfish that drift passively, this animal is an active swimmer, pulsing with deliberate contractions that push it through mangrove-lined bays and sandy shallows where fish nursery grounds overlap with human swimming areas. It moves with purpose, guided by clusters of primitive eyes that can detect light, shadow, and obstacles, allowing it to navigate around roots and reefs rather than collide with them. Evolution has not made it invisible by accident. It has made it invisible because invisibility is the most efficient hunting strategy in a three-dimensional, light-filled medium like water. The first contact is rarely dramatic. There is no splash, no visible strike. A swimmer's calf brushes something that feels at first like nothing at all, just a change in texture, as subtle as drifting through a spider web in air. But that fleeting contact is enough. A single tentacle, thinner than a shoelace and stretching several meters in length, has already done its work. Embedded along its surface are thousands of microscopic capsules, each one a spring-loaded venom delivery system evolved to fire on contact. The moment skin touches the tentacle, mechanical and chemical triggers activate simultaneously, and the capsules explode outward, driving barbed tubules through the outer layers of skin with astonishing speed. This is not one sting. It is not even dozens. It is a synchronized detonation of thousands of venom injections delivered across a line of contact that may be only a few centimeters long. The venom does not seep in slowly. It is forcibly injected, bypassing the skin's protective barrier and entering nerve endings, blood vessels, and connective tissue almost instantly. Within fractions of a second, ion channels in nerve cells are forced open, calcium floods where it should not be, and electrical signaling across the nervous system begins to misfire. The body reacts before the mind has time to assign meaning to sensation. Pain arrives not as a warning, but as a system overload. The nervous system, designed to localize injury and respond proportionally, is hit with such an intense and widespread signal that it loses the ability to prioritize. Instead of a sharp, directional pain, there is an immediate, all-consuming surge, burning, crushing, electrifying, radiating outward from the point of contact. Muscles spasm involuntarily. Breathing becomes erratic, not because the lungs are damaged, but because the brainstem is struggling to process conflicting sensory information arriving all at once. In these first seconds, the victim is not thinking about escape or treatment. The brain is still trying to understand what has happened. That delay is where the real danger multiplies. Panic is not a failure of character here. It is a predictable physiological response to a nervous system under assault. Sudden, overwhelming pain triggers reflexive movement, kicking, flailing, twisting away from the source. But the box jellyfish's tentacles are not rigid lines. They are flexible, adhesive, and reactive. Each movement through the water increases the chance that additional tentacles will make contact, wrapping around limbs or brushing across the torso. With every new contact point, thousands more venom capsules fire, stacking exposure on top of exposure in a rapidly escalating feedback loop. In ecological terms, this is not aggression, it is efficiency. The jellyfish evolved to subdue fast-moving prey like fish and prawns, animals capable of powerful escape responses. The venom is designed to incapacitate immediately, causing intense pain and cardiovascular disruption that stops prey from struggling free. When a human enters that equation, the venom does not distinguish between intended and unintended targets. The same mechanisms that paralyze a fish's muscles and overwhelm its nervous system now act on a much larger body, but the principles remain the same. More movement equals more contact. More contact equals exponentially greater venom delivery. Within the first 10 seconds, the outcome is still negotiable. This is the narrow window where behavior matters more than strength, endurance, or swimming skill. A strong swimmer who panics and thrashes can receive a far greater venom load than a weaker one who freezes or moves deliberately. The difference is not bravery, it is mechanics. Minimizing contact surface area and reducing water movement limits the number of nematocysts that can fire. The body, however, is fighting its own reflexes, driven by pain signals that demand immediate escape. As venom spreads, its effects begin to cascade through multiple systems at once. Locally, skin cells are damaged, leaving characteristic ladder-like welts where tentacles made contact. But the more dangerous effects are systemic. The venom interferes with cardiac muscle function, altering the way heart cells contract and relax. Blood pressure can spike or crash unpredictably. In severe cases, the heart may slip into fatal rhythms within minutes, not because it has been physically injured, but because its electrical signaling has been chemically hijacked. At the same time, stress hormones flood the bloodstream, compounding the cardiovascular strain and accelerating oxygen demand at the exact moment when breathing is becoming less coordinated. From an evolutionary perspective, this is a weapon refined over hundreds of millions of years. Box jellyfish belong to one of the oldest predator lineages still active in modern oceans. They emerged long before vertebrates developed complex skeletons or large brains, in a world where speed and chemical dominance determined survival. Their venom represents an early solution to a timeless problem: how to stop prey instantly in an environment where escape routes exist in every direction. Humans encountering this system are not facing malice or intent. They are colliding with an ancient design that has never needed to account for our presence. The ecosystem itself offers no warning signs. Box jellyfish thrive in warm, shallow waters where nutrients are high and prey is abundant. Exactly the same conditions that attract swimmers. Tides, winds, and seasonal changes can concentrate them close to shore, invisible against the glare of the surface. Unlike sharks or crocodiles, they do not displace water in a way that draws attention. They leave no ripples, no silhouettes. Their success depends on remaining undetected until contact has already occurred. By the time the brain fully recognizes the threat, the first critical decisions have already been made by reflex. The body may be carrying a venom load that cannot be reversed by willpower or physical conditioning. This is why the first moments matter so profoundly. Survival is shaped less by what happens after the sting and more by what happens during it, by whether movement amplifies exposure or limits it, by whether panic compounds the injury or is momentarily restrained. There is a cruel irony in this encounter. The most advanced nervous systems on the planet, capable of abstract thought and complex planning, are rendered temporarily useless by one of the simplest predators in the sea. A creature without a brain, without bones, without intent in any human sense, can overwhelm a human body faster than conscious thought can intervene. The lesson is not one of fear, but of humility. In these waters, power does not announce itself with size or sound. Sometimes it is defined by silence, transparency, and the unforgiving efficiency of biology doing exactly what it evolved to do. The ground in an Australian woodland is never still, even when it appears empty. Heat presses down through open eucalyptus canopies, baking leaf litter into brittle layers that crack softly underfoot. Ant trails stitch the soil together in patterns too subtle to notice unless you stop and look long enough. Seeds are dragged, carcasses dismantled, sap droplets harvested from invisible wounds in bark. This is an ecosystem run from the ground up, where small bodies move enormous amounts of energy and where size has very little to do with authority. Bull ants do not hide. Unlike many ant species that rely on overwhelming numbers or stealth, bull ants move openly, confidently, their long legs lifting them high above the ground as they patrol territories around nests that may be decades old. They hunt alone as often as they defend in groups, relying on keen vision, chemical cues, and an aggression threshold tuned far lower than most insects. Their large eyes are not decorative. They allow the ant to track movement, recognize intruders, and orient itself in complex terrain where landmarks matter. This is not a mindless automaton following pheromone lines. It is a solitary predator wrapped in a social framework. The encounter begins with proximity, not provocation. A boot presses into soil too close to a nest entrance. A hand brushes against a trunk used as a foraging highway. To a bull ant, sudden vibration or shadow is not ambiguous information. It is a potential existential threat. There is no hesitation because hesitation has never been rewarded in the evolutionary history of this lineage. The ant commits instantly, closing distance with startling speed, mandibles opening like hinged steel tools designed for gripping and holding rather than cutting. The first stage of the attack is mechanical. Mandibles clamp onto skin with a force disproportionate to the ant's size, anchoring the insect in place. This bite alone can break skin, but its primary function is not damage, it is control. By locking onto flesh, the ant stabilizes itself against a much larger, moving target, ensuring that what comes next is delivered precisely where it needs to be. In this moment, the ant is not defending itself blindly, it is executing a sequence. The second stage arrives almost immediately. The abdomen curls forward, bringing the stinger into position, and venom is injected not once, but repeatedly. Unlike insects that sting and retreat, bull ants are capable of delivering multiple stings in rapid succession while maintaining their grip. Each sting drives venom directly into nerve-rich tissue, bypassing many of the barriers that would otherwise slow its effects. Pain does not build gradually, it detonates. The nervous system reacts before cognition has time to form a narrative. Pain signals race along sensory neurons toward the spinal cord and brain, carried by fast-conducting fibers designed to prioritize damage detection above all else. These pathways evolved to override deliberation for a reason. In environments filled with venomous, biting or crushing threats, hesitation meant death. The result is that pain from a bull ant sting arrives fully formed, overwhelming and immediate, often registering before the person or animal even sees what caused it. This is why fear follows pain rather than preceding it. The body is already in crisis mode by the time the brain catches up. Muscles tense, breath shortens, and heart rate spikes as the autonomic nervous system floods the bloodstream with stress hormones. Rational assessment. What is biting me? How serious is this? What should I do next? Is delayed or suppressed entirely. The signal-to-noise ratio inside the nervous system has collapsed. Pain is the signal. Everything else is noise. The venom itself is not designed to kill large animals. It does not need to be. Its purpose is deterrence through intensity. Bull ant venom contains a complex cocktail of peptides that interfere directly with nerve signaling, amplifying pain perception while prolonging its duration. These compounds keep sodium channels in nerve membranes open longer than they should be, causing neurons to fire repeatedly and uncontrollably. The sensation is not just sharp, it is persistent, radiating, and resistant to habituation. The nervous system cannot quickly adapt or dampen the signal. This is why the pain feels so disproportionate to the ant's size. The brain is not measuring mass or threat potential. It is interpreting electrical chaos in sensory pathways. From the perspective of the nervous system, the stimulus is massive. Thousands of pain receptors are activated simultaneously, and the chemical environment around them is altered to sustain that activation. Evolution has shaped this venom to punch far above its weight, because doing so keeps predators, competitors, and careless mammals away from critical nest infrastructure. In ecological terms, bull ants are keystone defenders. Their nests house queens that may live for decades, producing generations of workers that maintain territory stability over long timescales. Losing a nest is not a minor setback. It is the collapse of a lineage. The cost of overreacting to a threat is low compared to the cost of underreacting even once. Pain, therefore, becomes the most efficient message possible, immediate, unforgettable, and neurologically impossible to ignore. For humans, this creates a dangerous feedback loop. The initial sting triggers a reflexive response, shaking the limb, slapping at the skin, stepping backward, or stumbling. These movements often dislodge the ant only after it has delivered multiple stings, or they attract additional workers responding to alarm pheromones released during the attack. Bull ants are highly responsive to chemical distress signals. What begins as a single sting can rapidly escalate into multiple attackers converging on the same area, each repeating the same two-stage sequence with mechanical precision. Panic makes this worse, not because it is irrational, but because it is mismatched to the threat. Thrashing and stamping are effective against some insects, but against bull ants, sudden movements increase the chance of more contact, more bites, and more stings. The nervous system, hijacked by pain, demands action without supplying strategy. The result is often an amplification of exposure driven entirely by reflex. Other animals learn this lesson quickly. Native predators that disturb bull ant nests, lizards, birds, small mammals, show immediate avoidance behaviors after initial contact. The pain is not subtle, and memory formation around such intense stimuli is robust. One encounter is usually enough to rewire foraging routes and hunting strategies permanently. This is part of why bull ants can dominate territories despite being relatively solitary hunters. Their venom teaches faster than teeth ever could. There is also an immunological dimension to the pain response. In some individuals, bull ant venom triggers exaggerated allergic reactions, where histamine release compounds the neurological effects. Swelling, redness, and systemic symptoms can follow, further increasing discomfort and risk. But even without allergy, the pain alone is sufficient to disrupt coordinated movement, making falls or secondary injuries more likely in uneven terrain. Seen through a wider lens, the bull ant is an example of how evolution solves problems with precision rather than scale. It does not rely on speed alone or numbers alone, or lethality alone. It uses sequencing, bite, anchor, sting, repeat, combined with venom that targets the most ancient and conserved vulnerability in complex animals: the nervous system's intolerance for uncontrolled pain. Fear, learning, and avoidance all emerge downstream of that initial electrical storm. There is a final irony here that only becomes apparent when you step back. The same nervous system that allows humans to reason, plan, and dominate environments is also what makes them so vulnerable to small, chemically armed defenders like bull ants. Intelligence does not protect against pain arriving faster than thought. In these moments, cognition is not in charge. Biology is. The bull ant does not need to chase, poison water, or hide in ambush. It stands its ground and enforces boundaries with clarity. Pain is the language it speaks fluently, and it speaks it loudly enough that even the largest animals in its world understand immediately. In the Australian landscape, that message has echoed for millions of years, shaping behavior across species not through fear alone, but through the raw, unavoidable authority of sensation itself. Northern Australia's savanna does not reward speed in the way open plains do. The ground is uneven, stitched with termite mounds, fallen branches, and tall grass that catches heat and hides movement. Trees stand spaced just far enough apart to break long sight lines, their canopies filtering sunlight into hard, blinding patches that shift with the wind. In this landscape, running is rarely a clean solution. Escape routes fragment, footing fails, and pursuit happens at close range. For small reptiles, survival here is decided not by how fast they can flee, but by whether they can interrupt the attack before it fully begins. The frilled lizard lives in this narrow margin between detection and pursuit. For much of the day, it appears unremarkable, a medium-sized lizard clinging vertically to tree trunks, body flattened against bark, head angled downward to watch the ground below. Its coloration mirrors dust, ash, and sun-bleached wood, allowing it to dissolve into the background when motionless. Thermoregulation dictates much of its behavior. Mornings are spent basking just enough to raise body temperature into an optimal range. Afternoons retreat into shade to avoid overheating. Energy is conserved carefully. This is not an animal built for sustained exertion. Predators, however, do not wait for ideal conditions. Raptors scan from above, their vision tuned to movement. Snakes hunt by scent and vibration, probing the base of trees where lizards descend to feed. Mammalian predators move with intent, closing distance quickly once prey is identified. For most animals in this position, the encounter unfolds in a predictable sequence: detection, orientation, pursuit, capture. The frilled lizard survives by breaking that sequence at its weakest point, the moment before commitment. When threatened, the frilled lizard does not immediately run. This hesitation is not confusion or delay, it is the strategy itself. In the first fraction of a second after a predator approaches, the lizard pivots to face the threat directly. Its posture changes, limbs stiffening, body lifting higher off the substrate. Then, in a movement so sudden it seems explosive, the frill erupts outward from the neck, unfolding like a living shield. What was moments ago a narrow-headed reptile becomes a broad, circular silhouette, ringed with bright oranges, reds, and yellows that were hidden seconds earlier. This transformation is not gradual, it is designed to shock. Predators are highly sensitive to sudden changes in size and shape because such changes can signal danger. An animal larger than expected, a display associated with venom, aggression, or unprofitability. The frill increases the lizard's apparent size by more than double, turning a manageable prey item into something visually dominant. At the same time, the lizard opens its mouth wide, exposing a brightly colored interior and emitting a sharp hiss as air is forced through the throat. Multiple sensory channels are engaged at once. Visual expansion, color contrast, sound, and direct eye contact. From a neurological standpoint, this moment is critical. Predators rely on pre-programmed attack sequences that unfold automatically once triggered. These sequences are efficient but rigid. When unexpected stimuli appear, especially those that violate assumptions about prey size or risk, the brain must reassess. That reassessment takes time, even if only fractions of a second. For the frilled lizard, those fractions are enough. The frill itself is a remarkable piece of biological engineering. Supported by elongated cartilage rods connected to the hyoid apparatus in the throat, it can be deployed and retracted rapidly with minimal energy cost. Blood flow increases during display, intensifying coloration and making the frill appear more vivid. This is not camouflage failing. It is camouflage abandoned deliberately in favor of intimidation. The lizard is no longer trying to be unseen. It is trying to be unforgettable. Importantly, the frilled lizard does not intend to fight. Its jaws are not built for serious combat, and its body cannot withstand prolonged struggle with larger predators. The display is not a bluff meant to be called. It is a pause button pressed on the encounter. In ecological terms, this is a startle and reset strategy. By forcing the predator to hesitate, the lizard disrupts the clean progression from detection to attack. The predator must now decide whether to continue, retreat, or reposition. This hesitation often collapses the hunt entirely. Many predators operate on efficiency thresholds. If a prey item suddenly appears risky, unfamiliar, or energetically costly, abandoning the attempt may be the optimal choice, especially when other, more predictable prey are available. The frilled lizard exploits this calculation without ever needing to outrun or overpower its attacker. Only after the display has done its work does movement occur. If the predator breaks off, the lizard may retreat calmly, frill folding back into invisibility as quickly as it appeared. If the predator hesitates but does not fully disengage, the lizard may then run. But now it runs with space, direction, and a disrupted pursuer. The chase, if it happens at all, begins on altered terms. This sequence reveals an important truth about survival in complex environments. The earliest seconds matter more than anything that follows. Speed is useful only if it can be applied before contact. Endurance matters only if pursuit is sustained. The frilled lizard survives because it invests everything in that initial decision point, where perception and interpretation are still malleable. There is also an evolutionary honesty to this strategy. The frilled lizard is not pretending to be something it is not. The display does not mimic another species or advertise false weapons. Instead, it exaggerates what the lizard already is, a living organism capable of sudden, dramatic change. Predators evolved to be cautious of such transformations because, historically, they often preceded injury or death. Over millions of years, selection favored individuals that hesitated when faced with unexpected escalation. The frilled lizard inserts itself precisely into that inherited caution. The environment reinforces the effectiveness of this approach. In dense savanna and woodland habitats, visibility is limited, and predators often initiate attacks at close range. There is little time for long chases or strategic repositioning. A moment of uncertainty can be enough to lose line of sight or create an opening to retreat around a tree trunk or into thicker vegetation. The frilled lizard's habit of staying near vertical surfaces, tree trunks and branches, means that escape routes are often immediately available once the predator's momentum is broken. Thermoregulation also plays a subtle role. As a reptile, the frilled lizard's muscle performance depends on body temperature. Sprinting when too cool or too hot reduces effectiveness and increases risk. A strategy that minimizes the need for sustained running is therefore metabolically sensible. The display costs little energy compared to a full-speed escape and can be deployed even when conditions are less than ideal. Juvenile frilled lizards refine this behavior early. Young individuals practice partial frill displays and posture adjustments long before they encounter serious predators. Those that hesitate too long or deploy the display too weakly are more likely to be taken. Over generations, the timing, size, and intensity of the display have been honed with ruthless precision. There is no room for indecision in the animal's repertoire. Either the display is immediate and overwhelming, or it fails. Seen through a broader lens, the frilled lizard represents a different philosophy of survival than many animals featured alongside it. Where venom overwhelms physiology and pain hijacks nervous systems, the frilled lizard targets cognition. It survives not by damaging its attacker, but by forcing it to think at exactly the wrong moment. In a world where hesitation can be fatal, inducing hesitation in another becomes a powerful weapon. There is a quiet irony in this exchange. Predators are often portrayed as decisive, unstoppable forces, yet they are constrained by the same neural processing limits as any other animal. They must interpret what they see before acting, and that interpretation can be manipulated. The frilled lizard does not escape because it is faster or stronger. It escapes because it understands, in an evolutionary sense, how predators think. By the time a chase would have begun, the encounter is usually already over. Survival has been secured in the opening seconds, before adrenaline surges, before muscles are tested, before endurance matters. The frilled lizard remains where it always was, balanced on bark, frill folded away, body once again indistinguishable from the tree it clings to. The landscape returns to stillness, and the lesson lingers. Sometimes the most effective escape is never running at all. In shallow tropical waters, danger often wears the costume of stillness. Coral rubble lies scattered across the seabed, broken by storms, grazing fish, and the slow grinding of tides. Algae coats everything in muted greens and browns. Shadows soften edges, and the water filters sunlight into a shifting mosaic that blurs distinction between living and dead. In this environment, survival favors those that disappear completely, not by fleeing, but by becoming indistinguishable from the ground itself. The stonefish is not hiding in the way a predator hides. It is waiting in plain sight, relying on a deeper failure of perception. Its body mimics rock so convincingly, texture, color, irregular shape, that even experienced eyes pass over it without registering a living form. Skin is encrusted with algae and debris, breaking up outlines that the visual system depends on for recognition. Fins are tucked close, movement reduced to the bare minimum required for respiration. The fish does not need to ambush. It only needs to exist where feet, hands, or fins might land. Encounters with stonefish rarely begin with intention. They begin with pressure. A foot comes down in shallow water, trusting the apparent solidity of the seabed. A hand braces against what looks like stable rock while navigating a reef. A knee presses into sand mixed with coral fragments. The human body applies force without hesitation because nothing in the visual field suggests risk. That is the first and most consequential mistake. Along the dorsal surface of the stonefish are thick, rigid spines connected to venom glands at their base. These spines are not offensive weapons in the traditional sense. They are passive, pressure-activated injection systems. When weight is applied, the spines are driven upward, penetrating skin and soft tissue. The venom glands are compressed mechanically, forcing venom through grooves along the spine directly into the wound. Injection does not wait for the fish to react. It is automatic, instantaneous, and proportional to the force applied. This is where intuition fails. Many venomous encounters are associated with pain as an immediate warning signal, an alarm that something has gone wrong. Stonefish injuries subvert that expectation. In the first moments after contact, pain may be muted or oddly delayed, not because damage is minimal, but because the nervous system has not yet fully registered what has occurred. The mechanical penetration happens faster than conscious awareness, and venom begins spreading through tissue before the brain assigns meaning to sensation. Venom from the stonefish is a complex mixture of proteins and peptides that act on multiple physiological systems at once. Locally, it disrupts cell membranes, causing rapid tissue injury. Blood vessels become leaky, allowing fluid to flood surrounding tissue and increasing pressure within confined spaces. At the same time, the venom interferes with nerve signaling, altering the transmission of pain and motor control. The result is a brief window where damage is escalating internally, while external sensation lags behind. This delay is not protective, it is dangerous. The body's usual reflex to withdraw immediately from a harmful stimulus is blunted or arrives too late. Many victims instinctively push off the seabed harder once they realize something is wrong, driving the spines deeper or increasing the number of spines embedded. Others attempt to stand fully, transferring more body weight onto the injury. Each additional fraction of a second under pressure forces more venom into tissue, expanding the zone of injury beyond the initial puncture sites. By the time full pain arrives, the critical moment has already passed. Pain from stonefish venom is not subtle. It is among the most severe known in marine environments, often described as radiating, crushing, and unrelenting. But this intensity is the aftermath, not the warning. The nervous system is now responding to widespread cellular damage, inflammation, and disrupted signaling that have already been set in motion. From a neurological perspective, this sequence highlights a fundamental limitation. Pain is not a real-time damage meter. It is an interpretation constructed by the brain after signals travel from peripheral nerves, are processed in the spinal cord, and integrated with context and expectation. When venom interferes with those signals, perception can lag behind reality. The stonefish exploits that lag without intent, simply through the mechanics of its anatomy. Ecologically, the stonefish's strategy is defensive perfection. It does not chase, threaten, or advertise. It occupies high-traffic zones, shallow reefs, estuaries, lagoons, where large animals move clumsily and visibility is compromised. Its venom is costly to produce, so it is deployed only when contact occurs. There is no wasted effort. Every injection is a direct response to physical threat, scaled by the force applied. Predators in these environments learn quickly. Sharks, rays, and large predatory fish that attempt to swallow or mouth stonefish experience immediate consequences. Even if the venom dose is not lethal, the pain and tissue damage are sufficient to reinforce avoidance. Over evolutionary time, this has reduced predation pressure so effectively that camouflage alone is often enough. The venom is a last line of defense, but one so reliable that it rarely needs to be tested. Humans, however, arrive without that evolutionary context. We trust surfaces based on sight and past experience. Rocks do not usually inject venom. coral rubble does not fight back. The stonefish thrives in that cognitive gap, not through deception in an active sense, but by occupying a blind spot in how perception works. Once venom spreads, the physiological consequences deepen. Swelling increases rapidly, sometimes to the point where circulation is compromised. Tissue oxygenation drops, exacerbating cellular injury. Systemic effects may follow as venom components enter the bloodstream, affecting heart rhythm, blood pressure, and overall metabolic stability. The body is now responding on multiple fronts, diverting resources to manage damage that could have been reduced had pressure been relieved immediately. This is why the earliest seconds matter more than anything that follows. Before pain peaks, before panic sets in, before swelling locks joints in place, there is a brief opportunity where minimizing force can limit venom delivery. But that opportunity is narrow and easily missed because the body does not yet feel the full cost of the mistake. There is a quiet cruelty to this design, though it is not intentional. The stonefish does not benefit from human injury beyond deterring contact. It does not pursue, consume, or even react beyond a slight shift under pressure. After the encounter, it settles back into stillness. Venom glands depleted, but body intact. The ecosystem absorbs the event without disruption. Only the injured animal carries the consequences forward. In broader evolutionary terms, the stonefish represents a lineage that solved survival through patience rather than speed or aggression. It outsourced detection and activation to the environment itself. Pressure becomes the trigger. Weight becomes the signal. The animal's role is to remain perfectly still until acted upon. This is a strategy that works only because the venom is effective before it is felt. There is an irony here that mirrors many of the deadliest encounters in nature. The most dangerous moment is not when pain is screaming for attention, but when sensation has not yet caught up with reality. By the time the nervous system demands action, the decisive action has already been missed. In shallow water, where visibility is poor and trust in the ground is automatic, survival depends on skepticism, on assuming that stillness does not mean safety. The stonefish teaches this lesson without movement, without sound, and without warning. The damage begins quietly under pressure, in the seconds before the body understands that anything is wrong at all. The Australian landscape teaches restraint. Heat builds slowly through the morning, soil hardening as moisture retreats deeper underground. In open woodland and scrub, movement is costly. Energy spent sprinting across uneven ground risks injury, dehydration, or exposure. For many animals here, survival does not belong to the fastest or most aggressive, but to those that understand when action is unnecessary. The echidna embodies that lesson with almost stubborn clarity. At first glance, the echidna appears vulnerable. It is low to the ground, compact and slow-moving, with no visible claws meant for combat and no teeth to threaten attackers. It forages deliberately, nose close to the earth, reading the chemical signatures of ants and termites hidden below the surface. Its life revolves around patience, long hours spent breaking into nests, extracting insects with a sticky tongue, and conserving energy between meals. Nothing about its daily behavior suggests readiness for confrontation, yet predators that approach an echidna quickly discover a problem. The animal does not run, it does not bluff, it does not escalate. Instead, it stops. In the first seconds after sensing danger, through vibration, scent, or subtle changes in air pressure, the echidna lowers its body and locks itself into the ground. Powerful limbs angle outward, claws digging into soil, leaf litter, or sand. Muscles tense in a coordinated contraction that pulls the animal downward, flattening its soft underside against the earth. At the same time, the echidna presents its spines outward in every direction, transforming from a moving target into a living barricade. This response is not passive, it is mechanical precision. The echidna's body is designed to become immovable under pressure. Its center of mass drops, leverage disappears, and the interface between predator and prey becomes hostile to any attempt at grip or bite. There is no exposed neck, no limb to seize, no flank to tear into. What remains is a dense cluster of hardened keratin spines, each one capable of inflicting painful injury to sensitive mouths, noses, or paws. Predators fail almost immediately, not because they are weaker, but because the problem they face is unsolvable within the constraints of their anatomy. Carnivores rely on access points. Teeth require purchase, claws require purchase. The echidna offers neither. Attempts to bite result in spines deflecting jaws away from flesh. Attempts to flip the animal are countered by its low profile and anchoring grip on the ground. Digging beneath it is slow and energetically expensive, often exceeding the predator's tolerance for effort when alternative prey exists. This is where the encounter is decided, not after a chase, not after injury. In the first moments, when the predator tests the situation and finds no mechanical solution, the cost-benefit calculation collapses. Continuing the attack promises pain, wasted energy, and potential injury, with no clear path to reward. The echidna has not fought back, yet it has already won. Evolution has shaped this response with remarkable honesty. The echidna does not pretend to be dangerous through display. It does not rely on surprise or speed. It simply exposes the reality of the situation. There is no way in. This is defensive architecture rather than behavior, a physical design that makes aggression pointless. The spines themselves are more than superficial armor. They are supported by dense musculature and thick skin that absorbs force and distributes pressure across the body. Beneath them lies a layer of fat and connective tissue that further protects vital organs. The echidna's skeleton is compact and reinforced, built to withstand compression rather than flexing. Every part of its body contributes to the same outcome: resistance through immovability. This strategy aligns perfectly with the echidna's metabolic reality. As a monotreme, it operates at a lower body temperature and metabolic rate than most mammals. Prolonged chases would be inefficient and dangerous. Fighting would be costly and unnecessary. By ending confrontations before they escalate, the echidna conserves energy while avoiding injury. An optimal solution in an environment where recovery can be slow and resources unpredictable. Predators learn quickly. Dingoes, foxes, large birds of prey, and even feral dogs test echidnas early in life. Those that persist too long risk mouth injuries, broken teeth, or infections from puncture wounds. Over time, avoidance becomes the dominant strategy. The echidna's defense does not need to succeed every time. It only needs to succeed often enough to shape predator behavior across generations. There is a broader ecological consequence to this. Echidnas occupy a niche where they can forage openly without constant fear, altering insect populations and soil structure through their digging. Their refusal to fight does not remove them from the ecosystem's energy flow, it stabilizes it. By surviving without escalation, they maintain their role as slow, persistent ecosystem engineers, turning over soil, aerating ground, and controlling insect colonies that might otherwise dominate. Thermoregulation plays a subtle supporting role. When threatened, Echidnas can reduce surface area exposed to air by flattening into the ground, minimizing heat exchange. Stress responses that might overheat other mammals are blunted. The animal remains physiologically stable while the predator expends energy probing for weakness that does not exist. Even reproduction reflects this philosophy of minimization rather than confrontation. Echidnas lay eggs and carry their young in a temporary pouch, reducing vulnerability during early development. Mothers rely on concealment and withdrawal rather than defense, reinforcing a life strategy built around avoiding conflict rather than winning it. There is a temptation to view such behavior as primitive or simplistic, but that interpretation misses the sophistication involved. Refusing to fight requires confidence, not cognitive confidence, but evolutionary confidence. The echidna's lineage has tested this strategy against countless predators over millions of years. The fact that it persists today is evidence of its reliability. In contrast to animals that survive through venom, speed, or aggression, the echidna offers a quieter lesson. Not all victories are loud. Not all defenses need to harm. Sometimes the most effective response is to remove the possibility of success entirely. From the predator's perspective, the realization comes quickly. The initial surge of intent meets an immovable object. There is no progress, no feedback loop encouraging continuation. The attack stalls, curiosity fades, attention shifts elsewhere. The echidna remains exactly where it was, unchanged, uninjured, and unperturbed. By the time the predator disengages, nothing dramatic has occurred. There is no chase to remember, no wound to nurse, yet the outcome is decisive. Survival was settled in the opening seconds, at the moment the echidna chose not to participate in the conflict at all. In a landscape defined by extremes, heat, scarcity, sudden danger, the echidna endures by opting out. It does not outrun threats or overpower them. It simply makes attack meaningless. And in doing so, it proves that sometimes the strongest response is not resistance, but refusal. Along the temperate southern coast of Australia, the ocean does not rush. It breathes. Kelp forests sway in slow, rhythmic arcs, each frond tracing the movement of water rather than resisting it. Light filters down in broken sheets, bending through surface chop and scattering into green-gold haze. In this environment, speed is conspicuous. Sudden movement announces presence long before intention. The predators here, snapper, wrasser, leather jackets, cephalopods, do not hunt by chasing shadows. They hunt by noticing what does not belong. The leafy sea dragon belongs by disappearing. At first glance, there is nothing to see. The eye skims across drifting kelp blades, broken seaweed, filamentous algae suspended in the water column. Shapes overlap, edges dissolve. The scene is cluttered, visually noisy, and deceptive. This is exactly where the leafy sea dragon exists most safely, not hidden behind cover, but dissolved into it. Its body does not resemble a fish trying to look like a plant. It resembles plant matter that never needed to look like a fish in the first place. Unlike most animals discussed so far, the leafy sea dragon has abandoned nearly every conventional escape strategy. It does not flee. It cannot accelerate quickly. It lacks spines, venom, armor, or aggressive displays. Its mouth is small and fragile, adapted only for siphoning tiny crustaceans. Its fins are translucent and nearly invisible, fluttering so subtly they barely disturb the water. Every aspect of its biology points toward a single objective: never crossing the perceptual threshold that turns background into target. Predators in kelp forests scan continuously, but scanning does not mean seeing. Visual systems evolved to prioritize contrast, edges, motion, and symmetry, features that reliably indicate living prey. The leafy sea dragon is engineered to sabotage every one of those detection cues. Its body is elongated and irregular, broken up by leaf-like appendages that extend outward in unpredictable patterns. These appendages do not function as fins, they are visual noise. They fracture the outline of the animal so completely that the brain fails to assemble it into a coherent object. Coloration deepens the deception. Yellows, olives, browns, and muted greens mirror the palette of aging kelp and drifting algae. Subtle mottling mimics light damage and epiphytic growth. Nothing about the pattern is symmetrical enough to attract attention. Even at close range, the eye slides past, categorizing the dragon as debris rather than biology. But camouflage alone is not enough. Many animals wear disguises and still fail because they move at the wrong moment. The leafy sea dragon survives because it understands, again, not cognitively, but evolutionarily, that the first seconds of potential detection are decisive. When water shifts, when shadows pass overhead, when predators approach, the dragon does not react with motion. It reacts with stillness. Movement is minimized to the point of invisibility. The sea dragon does not swim against the current. It aligns with it. Its body drifts in perfect synchrony with surrounding kelp, rocking and tilting in phase with the water's movement. This is not passive floating. It is active compliance. Minute fin adjustments keep the animal suspended without creating turbulence that would betray its presence. The effect is so precise that even experienced divers struggle to distinguish sea dragons from plant matter unless they know exactly what to look for. This is the critical difference between avoiding capture and avoiding detection. Once an attack begins, options narrow rapidly. Speed, agility, armor, these are solutions applied after a predator has committed. The leafy sea dragon never enters that phase. Its survival strategy operates entirely upstream, preventing the attack sequence from initiating at all. Predators do not decide to attack what they never recognize as prey. Their brains filter vast amounts of visual input every second, discarding anything classified as irrelevant background. The leafy sea dragon lives inside that discarded category. It does not trigger the neural cascade that leads to orientation, approach, and strike. There is no moment of hesitation because there is no moment of awareness. This has profound consequences for behavior. The leafy sea dragon does not need to remain vigilant in the way exposed prey must. It does not scan for threats constantly or adjust position defensively. Its success depends less on reaction time and more on consistency, maintaining the illusion without interruption. The first seconds matter because any sudden movement, any break in pattern, risks crossing the line from unnoticed to observed. This is why sea dragons are often most vulnerable during environmental disturbances. Strong storms that tear kelp from the seabed reduce visual clutter. Sudden temperature changes can alter algal growth patterns, shifting background colors. Human activity, anchors, fishing gear, pollution can simplify habitats that once provided perfect camouflage. When the environment loses complexity, the dragon's disguise becomes easier to penetrate. Even then, the response is not flight. The dragon adjusts posture, orientation, and depth, seeking zones where background density remains high. It selects micro-habitats, not for food abundance or shelter, but for visual continuity. Its world is defined by lines of sight rather than physical barriers. From a physiological perspective, this strategy is supported by a slow metabolism and low oxygen demand. The leafy sea dragon does not need to move much to survive. Its diet consists of small, drifting prey that can be consumed opportunistically. Long periods of stillness do not compromise its energy balance. In fact, unnecessary movement would be metabolically wasteful and ecologically dangerous. Reproduction reinforces this philosophy of avoidance. Males carry fertilized eggs on specialized brood patches, exposing themselves for extended periods without the option of fleeing. Camouflage becomes even more critical during this time. Any behavior that draws attention risks not only the adult, but the next generation. Selection pressure here is absolute. Individuals that break disguise do not pass on genes. There is an irony embedded in this existence. The leafy sea dragon is one of the most visually striking animals on Earth. Iconic, photographed, celebrated. To human eyes, it is extraordinary. To the predators it evolved alongside, it is invisible. Beauty, in this case, is a byproduct of deception, not a signal meant to be seen. In ecological terms, the leafy sea dragon represents the endpoint of a strategy that many animals attempt, but few perfect. Camouflage is common. Total perceptual erasure is rare. Achieving it requires alignment across anatomy, behavior, physiology, and habitat. Any mismatch, a movement too fast, a color slightly off, an outline too clean, breaks the spell. That is why the first seconds are everything. Detection is a binary event. Either the predator's brain classifies the object as prey, or it does not. There is no partial recognition that can be negotiated. Once recognition occurs, the leafy sea dragon has almost no tools left to deploy. Its survival depends on never allowing that switch to flip. This places the leafy sea dragon in stark contrast with the animals that rely on venom, armor, or intimidation. Those strategies accept detection as inevitable and focus on surviving the aftermath. The sea dragon rejects the premise entirely. It survives by ensuring that the encounter never formally begins. The kelp forest returns to its slow motion. Fronds sway, particles drift. Somewhere within that movement, a living animal breathes, feeds, reproduces, and ages without ever announcing itself. Predators pass through, scanning, searching, failing. The attack sequence never initiates because there is nothing to attack. In a series defined by pain, shock, venom, and mechanical defeat, the leafy sea dragon offers the quietest conclusion. No struggle, no damage, no reaction. Survival achieved not through confrontation, but through absence, by never becoming visible enough to be threatened at all.